Ladies and gentlemen, you should be most welcome back to Jimbadism Turtle Nutshell. And today I wanted to show you something quite interesting. Jimbadism. I don't sadly remember exactly who commented this, but I got a little tip in my comments for my instant tutorials about engines that you can recycle the exhausts from a efficient engine to use for a turbocharger engine, which is less efficient. And that's a great idea if you want to have like double engine setup on the same place. Now, a good thing of having two different engines that's completely separated is of course that if you do that, one of them can get destroyed and you can still use the power. But if you want to have two engines at the same place to make them more energy efficient, you can kind of recycle the exhaust. So, with that little idea, I invented, and not invented, I'm sure a lot of people have done it before me, but I made a 3-stage engine. And I made it as a prefab, so I'm going to load this prefab here. It's a triple motor combo 3x3, so it's a 3x3 engine. It can fit in that space to be a little bit, interesting. And I'm thinking that I should spawn it on a little podium here, but so that we can look at it very good. Okay, like that, fantastic. And I filled in with some, oh god, I just filled in with some wood blocks for sturdiness a little bit. It's of course a very small difference, but it's it can protect it a little bit, so I thought why not? And just gonna remove them so we can see a little bit better. Alright, so how does this engine work? It has 3 engine fuel engine generators, so it's a 3-engine block, and this is the big efficient engine. You can just take a look, and it has exactly the amount of fuel that it needs. So on this little engine, if we go into it, you can see we're using a kind of simple inline engine with carburetors and superchargers wherever we can fit them in this space. So this particular engine has a well, you can go in here and we can see that the output is set to 0.3. We can change it depending on the output we need, but it produces 750 power, and it does have a power material ratio of 840, so that's kind of nice. And this engine's exhausts is then pumped through all these pipes into this. Let's see here, it's a real Tetris here, but it's pumped into this inline turbocharger setup. So the turbochargers of this i2 inline 2 turbocharger engine, which has turbochargers wherever I could fit them, and of course a supercharger if it goes in low. And we also have it was a little bit interesting to set them up to use all the correct gas, because it's the gases don't really go where you want them to go. It's a little bit random where they go, depending on the pressure. So you have to kind of tinkle around till it actually works. It's weird. And they go around here in some weird way. And it has a cylinder turbocharger here just to be able to, I don't know, cool this cylinder. It's weird. So this engine, of course, it uses, it's fuel efficient if we are running at high power. If not, it's kind of sad. And then lastly, we have this engine. This, I should, however, go show the stats here. It's a full RPM, and it has an... What? Oh. Interesting. Well, it has a power per material that's also kind of high, so which is pretty nice. But now it's of course weird values because it's not really on. And well, it produces some 400 power, so it's less powerful, but it's it really recycles. It's just as large, so it can recycle all the gases and make it more efficient, basically. And then lastly, we have a Rose engine, a little radial injector engine, which is of course very fuel inefficient, but it has the lowest priority, so it only activates if it needs to, and it produces a lot of power, 1300. So we should just go into defense and add a little, let's have a radar decoy, and we can just max it. Now we can hear the engines are starting. So this is of course on base power all along. And now the turbocharger engine is kind of running at full as well. So that's nice. And of course, oh yes, and we are of course recycling the gases from the injector engine as well. It's kind of weird, but the injector engine's gases go into this thing, so it can plug in there. Yeah, it's weird. So this is 6 of 6 pressure used, 3 of 6, 1.5, 0. It's not too much because this is a, you know, and this for some reason doesn't use any at the moment. This is the exhaust, by the way, so if we want an exhaust, well, we put it on there. That's the only exhaust. Oh, that's pretty much it, you know, it's pretty cool. So say that we drag this, oh, okay, nice. This engine isn't running, even. We don't need to use all that power. Cool. I thought that, you know, I usually use the signal jammer ECM, and now I know why. Because this we can set up a lot higher. So if we set this to like 700, we only need to use our super low engine here. And this one, you know, these two doesn't even need to activate. If we drag this up to maybe 1700, we see how, yeah, we actually need to activate that one. And we're not on full power. If we're on full power, we're up here. Very nice. And if we need additional power, we can actually increase the RPM of this one to 0.6. Higher than that, we shouldn't use turbochargers anymore. But basically, now this uses 2 materials per second, so that's not great. This, however, you only use half material per second, and well, this uses 3 because it's inefficient. But it's pretty nice. Now this little setup is using or producing 1000 power, so that's kind of something at least. This poor thing only produces 400, but it's a good bonus because we can recycle all those gases. And this one is producing 1.3, 1300. And now when we are at full power, you can see 6 of 6, like most of them are actually at maxed, the turbochargers, so that's nice. And we can also, of course, some of them are not maxed out in pressure used, but well. I couldn't make a better setup than this. I'm quite happy with it. I will make it, use it in some future builds. It also has all the integrated fuel it needs and stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy. So if you want a 3-stage engine, this is how to do it. Remember to set up your most efficient engine, like the one that best runs at low RPM. We can actually decrease this so it's a little bit more efficient. Now it produces kind of the same power, but at half the materials. Yeah, it's a supercharger. That's what they do. So you want to have a decent supercharger so that you can run on your like standby cost, and then you'll just have a turbocharger engine that recycles all the gases, and it's the craziest Tetris ever to make them work, set up them correctly. It's like this piece has to be attached to the supercharger somewhere, and then one of these has to be an input and the other one has to be an output, and which is which doesn't matter too much, but you have to set it up in a way that it works, which can be a little bit harder than you might think, but it works, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty nice. And of course it's smart to have a couple of radiators here and there, not only so that they generate power at a more efficient level, since cooler engines run more efficient, but also, oh no, what? Wait, what? It just auto-removed blocks for me there. Okay, it stopped. Nice. Anyways, not only do you want radiators to make the engine run more efficient, you also want radiators in order so that the engine doesn't immediately overheat in case, some exhaust got damaged and you don't have enough cooling. Then you at least want radiators to take care of some of the cooling. So you can see each of these engines have some attached radiators just for that effect. In any case, hope this gave you some good ideas about efficient 3-stage engines, and well, happy building! I'll see you in future videos. This was just a little quick video about that, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is Jim signing out.